Jesus entered Jericho and was passing through the city. There was a rich man there called Zacchaeus, chief of the publicans. He wanted to see who Jesus was, but being small in stature, he couldn't because of the crowd. So he ran ahead and climbed a wild fig tree to see him, for Jesus was going to pass that way. When Jesus arrived at that place, he looked up and said to him, "Zacchaeus, come down quickly, I want to stay at your house today." So he came down quickly and received him with joy. All the people saw this and began to complain. "He stayed in a sinner's house." But Zacchaeus got up and said to the Lord, "Look, Lord, I'm giving half of my goods to the poor, and if I have extorted something from anyone, I will give it back 4 times as much." The day had come when the Messiah Jesus would leave Galilee for the last trip to Jerusalem. His last trip to Jericho before the ordeal was awaited with immense curiosity. A crowd gathered on the roads to see him. A wealthy publican named Zacchaeus wanted to see the Messiah. However, he was of a small stature, and to satisfy his desire, he climbed a sycamore tree and sought to accommodate himself there, carried away by the anxious anticipation of Jesus' passage. The man, overcome with joy, noticed the Messiah approaching with his simple and radiant bearing. Zacchaeus felt mesmerized by his undefinable sympathy. The publican, very surprised, found that the master had parked beside him and said, "Zacchaeus, come down from that tree, because today I need your hospitality and your company." The Jericho publican descended from his makeshift gallery, filled with immense joy. He embraced Jesus with spontaneous delight and ordered all the arrangements for the dear guest and his entourage to be welcomed home with the greatest joy. Jesus had won his attention, touching the most intimate fibers of the spirit with his generous presence. He was a well-loved guest who would stay in his heart forever. Zacchaeus, ecstatic, got up and exclaimed joyfully, "Lord, so deeply is my joy that I will share half of my goods with all the needy today. And if I have harmed anyone in anything, I will indemnify him 4 times as much." Jesus, with an affectionate smile, expresses, "Blessed are you, Zacchaeus, who now contemplate true salvation in your house." Some of the disciples could not hide their unpleasant deductions. They found Jesus' affability strange, approving the actions of a rich man in the world, a confessed tax collector and sinner. Jesus, noticing the critical thinking of some who accompanied him, spoke to them, "Blessed are those who share their goods with the poor, but blessed are also those who dedicate their possibilities to serve God with the riches entrusted to them." Then Zacchaeus ordered a large table to be served to the Lord and the disciples, where Jesus broke the bread, sharing the general contentment. In the wide terraces of the house, happy children and old people sang hymns of happiness. It was then that Jesus, all together told the beautiful parable of the talents, and placing his generous gaze on the figure of Zacchaeus, his divine lips uttered the undying words, "Blessed are you, good and faithful servant." A man who, when going on a journey, called his servants and entrusted them with his goods. To one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, and to another 1, to each according to his capacity. Then he left on his journey. The one who had received 5 talents left immediately, applied them, and gained 5 more. The one who had 2 talents also gained 2 more. But the one who had been given a talent came out, dug a hole in the ground, and hid his master's money. After a long time, the master of those servants came back and settled accounts with them. The one who had received 5 talents brought the other 5 and said, "You have entrusted me with 5 talents. See, I got another 5. The Lord replied, "Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful a little. I'll give you a lot. Come and share your Lord's joy." The one who had received 2 talents also came and said, "You have trusted me with 2 talents. See, I got 2 more." The Lord replied, "Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful a little. I'll give you a lot. Come and share your Lord's joy." Finally, the one who had been given a talent came and said, "I knew that you are a severe man, who harvests where he has not planted and gathers where he has not sowed. So I was afraid. I went out and hid your talent in the ground. See, here is what belongs to you." The Lord replied, "Bad and negligent servant, did you know that I harvest where I didn't plant and gather where I didn't sow? So you should have trusted my money to the bankers, so that when I got back, I would get it back with interest. Take his talent and give it to the one with 10, for whoever has more, more will be given to him, and he will have a great amount. But from those who don't have, even what they have will be taken from them. And cast out the useless servant into darkness, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth." The servants are asked, humanity. Talents are the goods and resources that divine providence grants us to be used for our own benefit and that of our fellow men. The time allotted for its movement is earthly existence. The distribution of talents in unequal amounts, contrary to what might appear, has nothing arbitrary or unfair. It is based on the differentiated capacity of each one, brought as baggage before the present incarnation. Those who receive 5 talents are more evolved people who have reincarnated to social repercussion missions. Those who receive 2 talents are intended for more restricted tasks in the family environment, and those who receive 1 have no responsibility other than to promote their own spiritual progress by acquiring the virtues they lack. The servants who caused the talents to multiply represent men who know how to do the will of God, making good use of the gifts with which they have been endowed. The servant who left his talent unproductive, failing in commission that he has committed, symbolizes men who miss the opportunities offered by divine providence for their spiritual evolution. It will be given to those who already have it, and these will be accumulated with goods. Means that whoever responds to the Lord's trust will receive help and protection, so that he can increase the virtues he already possesses. If you don't have it, even what you have will be taken from you, and let the useless server be cast into darkness, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. That is to say that whoever does not strive to add something to what he has received of divine mercy, he will atone in future suffering reincarnations, not as a punishment from God, but as a restorative action for their learning and evolution.